Howdy folks, this is Shane. Thanks to everyone who watched and commented on the blind test video I did between the Fender Mustang GT200 and Brian's Fender Supersonic. Also, a huge thanks to Brian for doing this on the whim shootout that we just did. We actually just got together to see if we can get a comparable sound. I thought, let's see if we can film some of this as well. So that's what we did. As I mentioned on the pinned post, we spent maybe 40 minutes, maybe even longer, it could have been more than that, trying to get the closest sound we could. Had the Supersonic just been the stock box, it would have sounded much closer, but his cabinet had two different speakers. This is where this particular video wasn't an apples to apples comparison, but it was the best we could do under the circumstances. Reading through the comments was nothing short of hysterical to some extent. What I love about doing these videos is you get so many random comments. One person said, this test was so unfair because A had so much reverb, and then if you read down 3 or 4 posts from there, it said this test is so unfair, B had so much more reverb. So I love it. It's an interesting experiment. Everyone's listening on a different device and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, you never know what people are, or how people are listening to it. And if you're listening to it on an iPhone speaker, don't. Anyway, the results are as follows. A was the actual Supersonic 60 tube amp. B was the Mustang. The other great thing about the comments were as follows. A lot of people said, I don't know which is which, but I like A based on these reasons, or I like B based on these reasons. And neither of them are wrong. It's just all personal choice. I wanted to spend a few days getting used to this amp before I start making patches, and also before I do my review. I'm actually gonna do a critical review of this thing, not so much a demo. It will feature demonstrations of the effects and all that kind of stuff, but I'm gonna tell you my personal opinion on this based on what I know about this new amplifier, and also all the prior experience I had with the version 2s, which I absolutely was a huge advocate for. Right now, I'm kinda on the fence of how I feel about this. I feel the new amp has its strengths and it's improved in some areas, whereas other areas I feel like it's a bit of a step backwards. For those who don't know, I don't work for Fender, I don't work for any music company, I do what I do from my house, thus it's going to be non-biased. My opinions are based on a huge amount of experience with these amps, making patches, copying tones, all that kind of stuff, and knowing the amps back to front. I want to spend a few more days getting to know this amp before I do a critical review of it. Like I said, there's some things I love about it, there's some things I don't think are worth the upgrade. These changes and differences will be the difference between wanting to upgrade or just keeping what you have. The review that I'm putting together for the Mustang GT200 will probably be a pretty long review, but it's going to cover everything that I can think of and also talk about comparisons between the current generation and the older generations, which is something a lot of other demos and shops don't talk about on their videos. They're more interested in selling stuff without giving people the facts. Thanks again for watching, folks, and thanks again to everyone who commented on the blind test. I absolutely appreciate it. I'm going to try and do another one coming up, maybe against the Princeton, so we'll see how we go. We'll see if a big amp can sound like a small amp, so we'll get into that as time goes on. Thanks again, folks, and I'll catch you all soon. See ya.